What's up?
You tell me. I like your hat. Y'all's. Okay, what is that?
Y'all's is a minor league baseball team in Florence, Kentucky.
Really?
Yeah, my friend Chip gave it to me. I saw Chip the other night at the Jacksonville Jaguars football game on Monday Night Football. Drove up to Jacksonville, and it was a bad night for the city of Jacksonville, unfortunately.
They didn't win.
They didn't win, and their quarterback went down, and you could feel all the air go out of the city. Yeah, kind of sucked.
Did they win or lose?
We just said they lost.
Oh, you said it was a bad night, but you just said that the quarterback went down. That doesn't mean they lose.
You said they lost, and I said yes.
Oh, did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I did not realize I said that. Because I didn't think
they lost. They
Okay.
lost in overtime.
Aww.
But, yeah, the bigger implication is they were in the pole position to have, like, home field advantage all through the playoffs, and that's all up in question right now. So.
Okay. But you got a hat out of it.
I got a hat out of it.
And you got to see Chip.
I got to see Chip, and Chip is a purveyor of fine hats, actually, and other sports memorabilia on eBay, Chip on the Bay. So check him out. We'll do a little graphic. It'll be fun. Now that I think about it, we're going to have him on the show in a couple weeks, so it should be fun.
That will be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
But anyway, and incidentally, this minor league baseball team, not far from some friends of ours, about 20 minutes away from Covington, Kentucky.
Oh,
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to go see them play when we head back to Covington for a proper, long visit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll drag Bert and Jenna out. Even though Bert's not really a sports guy, we're going to force him to hang out with us.
You know what, though? They do a lot of things, and
They
my
do.
guess is they've probably already been to a Y'all's baseball game.
I bet they have.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. We're not talking about Kentucky, though, today. We are talking about someone's little adventure in Tampa.
That would be me.
Let's go.
Hey listeners, ever wonder what it would be like to blow up your comfort zone at the tender age of 50? Well, we did just that. When our last kid went off to college, we hit the road in search of a new hometown. Now we bounce from city to city and bring you along for the ride. This is the Skip Town All-Stars podcast.
What's up, All-Stars? Welcome back to another edition of Skip Town. We got a very special one today. I say that every week.
You do.
I say everyone's special. Everyone is special. I mean, everyone is special, but every episode is also special.
But then when it's really special, how are we going to differentiate? Because you say it's special. It's like every town you go into, you immediately you're so, what's the word when when you like everything right away? What is that word? There's a word for it.
Promiscuous?
Okay, that is not it. That is not it. It's like impressionable.
I am
You're
impressionable.
so impressionable.
I am.
Everything is great. Everyone's wonderful.
Yeah.
Every episode is special. This episode is truly special.
It is truly special. I'm sorry I'm impressionable. I've been like that since I was a little kid. So I take people at their face value until you can't. And then when I was younger, I would punch them, but I don't do that anymore.
Oh.
So now I just have to walk
You've
away.
matured.
I have to. I got a lot to risk by punching someone.
You still feel like it though, don't you?
Everybody does, don't you?
Oh yeah. I
know you do. You're from Chicago.
Oh, okay. Here's what I think. You probably, as a guy, think you don't just punch them right in the face.
Yeah.
I have this idea in my head of I'm in a situation.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh.
Don't make this
Okay,
violent.
fine.
I already
All right.
know where you're
It's
going
fine.
with this.
Okay.
I've heard this anecdote
The dragging
before.
across the cement.
Yeah.
Okay.
That whole thing.
Scorched earth.
Scorched earth back in La Casa. All right. You went to, let's talk about something fun.
Okay. There was no dragging across the cement on this trip.
Okay. So you met with one of the listeners of the show.
I did.
Who lives not actually very far from where we're recording right now.
No, not at all. She lives in Tampa, and that is where I went to go visit her. So her name
is it?
Gareen.
Okay.
I'm going to do a shout out to Gareen, not Green, Gareen. And she's been a listener from the very beginning of the show. Oh, she is one of those interactive listeners. So if I post something on my story or there's a clip from our show on Instagram, she immediately will send me a DM or make a comment on the post. I love it. I love when the listeners engage and suggest things. Now, she is a world traveler, not so much the States, although she has traveled the States quite a bit. She legitimately is a world traveler. So she's been to far off places where you and I have yet to discover, but she loves our state by state travels, and she is always engaged in what we're doing.
Right. So, but wait, real quick. She's in Egypt right now, right?
They are.
As we're recording this.
And she used your tour guide. Remember? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
some of her travel tips. But going back to what you said about her being interactive, she actually, after the Egypt episode, she sent me a message and said, it's not really aliens. It's insulting to the Egyptians that you say that. And Green, I got to tell you, I dug in a little bit, and turns out they found a 6,000-year-old dry riverbed where stones could have been floated to create the pyramids.
So she wasn't
Green was right.
She wasn't so far off.
I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong.
Well, her husband is an archaeologist. And so I did ask her, since he is an archaeologist, does he believe in aliens?
And?
He does not.
He does not.
What?
A well-educated man, PhD, the whole 9 yards, does not believe in aliens. He says people were capable of building pyramids. Not aliens, James.
I'm finding that out. Yeah. But I still think there are aliens, whether or not they built the pyramids. I mean, even the Department of Defense right now is copying to the fact that they've had extraterrestrial sightings.
He doesn't believe in it, but that's a side note. Okay.
Well, he is a man of science. So.
Yeah. But I went to Tampa. So Green follows our travels, like I said. And when she found out that we were coming to the villages in Florida, she said to me, I live in Tampa. Why don't you come for a visit? Well, this whole time, I thought Tampa was 3 hours from where our house is in Florida.
Yeah.
It's an hour.
It's an hour?
No idea.
Tampa's only an hour?
The minute I realized it was only an hour, I texted her and said, I'm coming in 2 days. Like I said to her, what are your plans? I'm coming for a visit in 2 days and you are going to show me Tampa. She's lived there now for 6 years. She's originally from Los Angeles, and she's one of those people that digs in deep when she is visiting or living in a place. So I felt this was so perfect to go visit her.
Nice.
And she would show me around properly. And she did. I spent a couple of days with her, and she had an itinerary for each day. Itinerary.
Wow.
Yeah. First thing I could tell you about Tampa, it's cool.
Really?
It is really cool.
Said no one ever.
It's so weird because it's the most generic adjective to use for a city. And normally I like to be more, it is underlooked. I like to be more descriptive. But when I got there, all I could say was, this place is cool. And what made it cool was the layout. It's arty. Good restaurants, the outdoor environment. Like you can take a stroll along the bay. Bayshore Boulevard is like they're A1.
Oh, it's like a really long sidewalk.
Yes.
Or it's like the world's longest sidewalk or something like that.
Well, it's actually a boulevard that you drive along, that you drive on, but along the bay is this beautiful boardwalk. I call it a boardwalk. I don't know what the locals call it, but you can ride bikes, you can jog, you can baby stroller it, like whatever the heck you want to do. And it is for miles, and it's just beautiful. And there's not a lot of traffic.
Really? In Tampa, there's not a lot of traffic? I think it's definitely one of the top 50 cities in the United States, right?
Yeah, Tampa is literally like an hour from Tampa.
Tampa's an hour from Tampa.
Yeah, and that's why you said it's an hour. It'll take you longer to get to Tampa versus if you're already in Tampa to get to the other side of Tampa.
That is true. Okay, so Tampa itself is big, and I went all over Tampa. So we were in the downtown area. I was in different neighborhoods. I went to Hyde Park, which is an area. I went to Davis Island. She lives in the suburbs, which is northeast Tampa. So we really were all over Tampa. And during traffic, it certainly took 45 minutes to get to the burbs, from the burbs to downtown Tampa. No question about it. Like if we went in rush hour.
Yeah.
Not at 1 o'clock, not at 11 o'clock. But if you went at 8:30 or you went at anywhere between 4 and 6, yes, you were going to sit in traffic for about an hour. That's from the burbs to downtown Tampa. But within Tampa, we were in Ybor City, which is a really hip, cool city, which I'm going to talk about. It's called Ybor City. It's a neighborhood in Tampa.
It's Ybor, right?
Yes, it's Ybor, but you pronounce it Ybor. And from that place to Hyde Park, which is another, like, I don't know. Nobody uses the word yuppie anymore, but it's more of a
hipster.
But it's expensive. So Ybor City is hipster, kind of poor hipster, and Hyde Park is hipster, West Elm hipster.
Hipster with money.
Yeah, hipster with $300 tennis shoes hipster.
Got it.
So, and the distance between those two neighborhoods, because they're just neighborhoods within Tampa,
Right.
20 minutes. So
Wow, okay.
you're right, Phil. It does take an hour from one end of Tampa to the other. But in like when we were traveling, we got, it was pretty easy to get from neighborhood to neighborhood.
Yeah.
I found it to be quite simple. Like it was not complicated. You take one freeway or you take two streets and you can get to where you want to be.
Interesting. Okay, wait. So, all right. So you rolled up.
Yeah.
You met Green.
Yes.
Day one.
Yes.
First thing you did.
Went to Ybor City.
Oh, you
It
said
was
that already.
incredible. Like,
Okay.
Okay. The reason I say it was incredible was because in my head, I had Tampa laid out in my head as a strip mall haven and just strip malls and palm trees. That's
Right.
all I thought. I wasn't thinking anything beyond that. I'm super lame. Like
I think when you're driving down, like we've been through that area on our way to Fort Myers or Naples or whatever, and all you're seeing from the highway are exactly what you're describing
I just didn't
for
think.
miles.
I didn't think history. I didn't think culture. I didn't think good food. I actually didn't.
Yeah.
I guess I thought Daytona Beach on the Gulf side. That's probably, that's really, if I had to narrow down like what I was really picturing, it was Daytona Beach on the Gulf side. It is so far from Daytona Beach, like day and night, not even. Ybor City is this cool, hip area. And I use the word cool again because it's just not your like normal Floridians. And if you've been to Florida and you have even vacationed here, you kind of get the idea of like, Hawaiian pants, t-shirt, and flip-flops.
Cargo shorts.
Yes.
New Balance tennis shoes.
And you would have some of that a little bit in Ybor City, but generally people I saw did not look like that. The shops weren't your typical beach bathing suit, seaside, I don't know.
No mullets with a gator tooth necklace or anything like that? No?
No.
None of that.
There was none of that.
Okay.
The shops were really cute. They had lots of cigar stores. So what I learned with Gareen, because she's all about history and knowing where she is and her surroundings, she immediately told me the history of Ybor City. What she said is that it started off as a cigar making city. So it is true in the late 1800s. I dug a little deeper. There was a Spaniard from Cuba who came to Florida, first started in Miami to make cigars. It was just overly populated. So he made his way a little further northwest and found Tampa, settled in Ybor City. This is in the late 1800s, started making cigars, and that became the destination of where cigars were made. So by early 1900s, 500 million cigars will have been made out of Ybor City by like 1920s.
Oh, no way.
From the late 1800s to the 1920s.
500 million just in that short time span.
Yes.
Wow.
Do you remember the pirate's name?
I do. It's
Jose Gaspar.
thank you. Thank you.
That makes sense. Isn't there a cigar named Gaspar or something like that?
Well,
Isn't there's
actually,
something,
okay.
Gasparillos?
So, but
I don't know.
the originator of Ybor, his name was Vincent Martinez, sorry.
Spoken like a true white lady.
woman. Victor, sorry, let me do that all over again.
You don't have to do it all
No,
over
it was terrible.
Leave it in.
Leave it in.
Vincent Martinez Ybor. He's the one who actually came and settled.
So he's
in
the
Ybor
city's
City.
namesake.
Yes, he's the
Okay.
city's namesake.
All
But you
right.
are right about the the most.
Jose Gaspar, yeah.
Yes, he's like one of the most famous cigar makers of that time in that
Yeah.
area. So
There were like 200 factories or something there at one point, I read.
oh yeah,
200 cigar factories.
it's
That's a lot of tobacco.
That is where the cigars were originating from in the States.
Wow.
Now, I don't know, like I know people say Cuba, but whatever. I'm just telling you about this.
Yeah. No,
And so then
I'm in.
with that came an influx of other immigrants because they saw how well Vincent was doing with the cigar. Yeah.
Vince was killing it.
Vinny was doing well.
Vinny's killing it over in Ybor.
Yeah, he was. So the Italians decided to come on over.
Of course they did.
They wanted a piece of that. They literally wanted a piece of that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So 60% of them were from Sicily.
Yeah?
Something about Tampa that was appealing to the Sicilians. So when you pull up in Ybor City, it is a mixture of Cuban with the cigars and Italian with the restaurants. I mean, they still have brick-laid streets there.
Yeah.
A lot of the architecture hasn't changed in Ybor City. So when you get out of your car, it looks like you're somewhere in Cuba, or it could look like you're in New Orleans, or it could look like you're in Little Italy. I mean, the tile work on some of the buildings is so beautiful. I took pictures and put it on our social media and basically said, where are we? Because I tried to take out the palm trees because the palm trees are kind of a giveaway.
Right, dead giveaway.
Yeah, so if you just saw the brickwork on the roads, and if you just saw the architecture of the buildings or the signs of the buildings, because those are still, they crafted them in a way where you feel like you're not in 2023. You feel like you've stepped back in time, just the signs alone.
Right.
So,
well, I was going to say, though, let me jump in real quick. There was a handful of episodes in the later seasons of Boardwalk Empire that were centered in that area of Florida. And so that, if you watch that series, then you know it has to do with bootleggers and prohibition and all that other stuff. And so, yeah, a lot of the, there was sort of that, they were basically running rum up and down through Alligator Alley from Miami up and all that other stuff. So.
Yes. So Ybor City, from what I learned, kind of became the place where it was the crooked Italians, under the radar Cubans.
Mafiosos from Sicily.
So it was, and then they were doing gambling and
course.
the bootlegging. So that's where they had a big part. And they didn't have a huge part from what I found about the cigar making. That really was left to the Cubans. Like that was their
specialty.
Yeah. Like the Italians.
I'm sure they still profited off of it and
sure
offered protection and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Like, what's your view on this? Gambling and bootlegging. Is that really a crime? Are those really crimes?
Nope.
Thank you, Phil. Denise had to think about it. She's still thinking about it.
Well, because I think you're just harming yourself, right? Like you're just you're causing harm to yourself.
It's fun to gamble. It's fun to bootleg.
Not when you spend your family's mortgage money.
That's
though.
true.
I mean,
that's true.
But
does
it's all
create
about
to the ills of society.
But it's self-control, though.
Yeah.
Like alcohol was prohibition back then, but you could just buy whatever and you could ruin your life that way too.
Yeah.
It is true. No.
You still do it to this day.
You can still, please. There are plenty of people who have gambled all their funds away in 2023 and continue to do so. I'm just saying that it's more of a self-afflicted crime if it's going to, because back then it was a crime. So who is it really who is it hurting? But I don't know.
I mean, I know guys who have spent their family's money on Home Shopping Network or whatever, like late at night, doing infomercial stuff. Women who have to have the latest, $200 Lululemon pants every single week, kind of thing. It's like,
if I told y'all how much money I spent on virtual dollars for my NBA 2K character, you guys would choke me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Even crypto, right? Let's talk about crypto along that line. It's like, you let me play around with some money on crypto. It's a complete gamble. In the end, I probably lost $2,000 or $3,000 over the course of a couple years. But it was fun, while it lasted. It was better, frankly. I did better with crypto than I ever did in a casino. So, anyway, so, I'm all for Ybor City circa 1800.
All right.
And 90.
You would have done just fine there.
I would have loved it.
Yeah,
it would have been fun.
I don't think I would have liked it.
You don't think you would have?
Not at that time.
Not you, Phil. Not you, Phil. You're right.
It's a little more, shall we say, gentrified now, Phil. You're more than welcome in Ybor City, I bet. All right. Anyway, that was a side note. So go on.
So the first thing we did was we had food in an Italian restaurant. So and she said to me, "This is supposed to be the most authentic Sicilian restaurant." Now.
What'd you get?
Well, I don't know. I've never been to Sicily. I thought it was good. So.
What'd you order?
Oh, I ordered margarita pizza and.
That's it?
Okay, I wanted to do, here's the truth.
You do margarita pizza all over the country.
I wanted to do spaghetti and meatballs, but I felt like it was lunch and I didn't want to be a pig in front of her. I totally could have done spaghetti and meatballs, but I felt like I had to,
You had to maintain.
I did feel that way. So I just had a salad and we did have
a salad at a Sicilian restaurant.
I know. I had a salad. I had pizza, and then we did have an appetizer of meatballs. We actually did have an appetizer of meatballs, and they were delicious.
The
So
Sicilian meatballs.
the food was so good. I mean, the pizza and the meatballs, salad you can get anywhere, but the food was so good that I'm taking the girls back. So when my girls come to visit for the holidays, I already told them it's an hour drive. We're going to have some great Italian food, and I'm going to order spaghetti meatballs or chicken parmesan.
You're going to pick out it.
I've already thought about what I want to get. Okay. So the second time I saw her, the second day I spent with her, I asked her, could we go to another Italian restaurant because I wanted to have chicken parmesan and spaghetti. We didn't.
You're ordering all the classics.
That's how you know a good place.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like that's my litmus test whenever I go into an Italian place.
That's true. We've talked about this.
Yeah, spaghetti meatballs or chicken parm. Spaghetti meatballs is a true.
Do you eat the spaghetti like the Italians are supposed to though? Because
with a spoon?
Yes, because they'll judge you if you don't do it correctly.
Oh, you know,
okay.
I eat it right.
All right,
You definitely need the big tablespoon.
Yeah, I use it with a spoon. And the meatballs, if the meatball is not good, then that place just, I'm never going back. So for me, it's always the spaghetti meatballs is the litmus test of any Italian restaurant. But I don't want to always get spaghetti and meatballs. So sometimes I mix it up and then, I can't always tell.
I remember a time when lasagna was your litmus test.
It was. It's not anymore. It's too much. It's
It's too hard to get it right.
No, that's
Too many
not
strikes.
it. No, that's not it. It's too filling.
Pasta cake.
It is a pasta cake. Yes. Yes, it's too filling.
Well
so
put.
I don't do spaghetti. I don't do lasagna anymore.
Okay.
I just, it's too much.
All right.
So I asked her if we could go so I could try out chicken parm somewhere. We ended up having lunch on the channel. It's not the bay. It's a channel that's right off the bay. And the restaurant was really nice. It's a beautiful view. But like most places that have a beautiful view, I feel it's 50-50 with the food. Because
it can be, yeah.
When someone says, let's go to this place that has a beautiful view, I'm always like, oh, like the food's just going to be okay.
It's pretty rare you get the view and the cuisine.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And this place was average. I would have rather hit an Italian place, but it's okay because I got to see the beautiful boats and the channel, the yachts basically, and it was just a good conversation. We're outside. It's December and we're sitting outside in beautiful sunny day, so you can't complain about that. The food
You know where
was
the
just
best
average.
place is to get a view in the food? Mastro's.
In Malibu.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're not in Malibu right now. We're in Tampa, but thanks for that.
Okay, no problem.
okay.
It's a slightly more expensive lunch.
Yes, it is. So from Ybor City, she took me to a place called Hyde Park, but
Hyde Park? Mm-hmm. Okay.
yes.
I'm not questioning you.
I'm like, did I miss it? You weren't even there, but I'm like,
you said in Chicago's Hyde Park, all almost one syllable. So I just want to make sure it resonates.
Yeah, it was Hyde Park.
Okay.
And from Ybor City to Hyde Park was a beautiful drive. But going back to Ybor City really quick, one of the things you're going to see the minute you get to Ybor City, it's the craziest thing. Wild chickens running around everywhere.
Yeah?
With roosters. Roosters and chickens running around everywhere. And I said to her, "What? Like they stop traffic."
Oh, they just come out in the street and all
No,
that?
they literally just walk out in the street. You have to stop your car. They are protected by the city of Tampa.
You can't hit a chicken.
Dang it.
No. Phil.
I want to hit a chicken.
Phil, no.
Phil's looking for lunch.
They are loud. So I had to look this up as to why they're protected. And they were brought over by families looking to work in Ybor City as a source of food. And then to make money, they use them for cockfights.
Oh, I was going to say eggs, but yeah, that makes sense. Cockfights.
Yeah.
A lot of gambling.
Yes.
Right.
And so then what happened as things started to change and Ybor City started to, age and whatnot, Tampa decided that they wanted to keep the chickens basically as a reminder of like the originators
All the fallen
of Ybor.
chickens, all the fallen roosters.
No, babe. No. As a
Pour some out.
memorial to the people that founded Ybor City. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's it. They get chickens. That's their memorial.
Well, they allow the chickens to run around because
Okay.
that's how they did it.
It's a nice touch. Don't get me wrong.
And they actually have a society that cleans up after the chickens. Because
Really?
you can't just have chickens.
Yeah, there's a lot of chicken poop.
Okay. Yeah. You do unless you're there, you realize like, oh, they jump on cars, they are on top of buildings, they're on top of balconies, they're everywhere, and they poop a lot. So
they just have like spray and washes on
People-
the way in and out of town on the highway. They're like, okay, come on, thanks for visiting, and they spray you off and clean your windows.
no, they actually have a society of people that clean up after the chickens.
Okay,
So yeah,
just
so,
walking around with pooper scoopers all day.
Yeah, I didn't. Yes, and I think like a sprayer probably. I didn't see any of these people, but that is the only way they can keep the chickens around because it's actually with regards to all the restaurants being there, it's a health
biohazard. Yeah,
it's a health hazard.
Yeah.
So so they have a society where they clean up after the chickens, which I think is great. I mean, it's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like you're walking.
It's helpful for sure. Nobody wants to walk. Let's go get ice cream, and then you're walking through chicken poo.
Yeah, and you don't see any of that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This topping tastes a little salty here.
Yeah,
What is
exactly.
that?
Like,
A little tangy here. What's going
I
on?
had a seagull poop on me once.
Me too.
I had a bird poop on me once too.
That's the worst.
Got in my mouth.
Oh,
Oy!
why do you always top these stories, Phil? I have a kid that I almost killed at Christmas, but your house burned down. Like, and now you got poop in your mouth. I got it on my head. We'll never win.
I had it
He
on my
will always-
shoulder.
he will-
Again, just like the Christmas episode, I got the best of it. I just had it on my shoulder and wiped it off.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that. Now
Anyway.
I have to like.
So now we have chickens. Well, at least chickens can't fly as high as seagulls. So there's that.
Weird
You're just
question.
walking through, just bring a pair of galoshes, you'll be fine.
Do chickens poop like other birds, where it's just like the white stuff, or is it like solid
No, it's like
It's little.
pebbles?
It's like little, and it's like little, and well, isn't it like? I think it's like a little train. Isn't it like a little train?
Yeah.
A bird
poo
poo-poo
train?
Yeah, it's like a
not-
poo-poo
yeah,
train.
it's not solid.
Oh,
So
okay.
It isn't.
Interesting.
It splatters, and it's
yeah, it's messy.
Yeah.
It's messy.
So-
Aren't you all glad you came today for this? Let's moving on. Where'd you guys go next?
Okay, so well, the one thing I wanted to do, which I asked her the minute we got there, was I want to go see Tom Brady's house.
I was just going to say, it was going to be my first question, and I did not want to derail your presentation to the Skiptown All-Stars Tampa episode.
Yeah.
My first question was going to be, did you see Tom Brady?
Oh, I was looking for him, but gosh, I found out he and Giselle actually live in Seaside or Surfside. It's Surfside. It's South Florida near Miami. So they moved to the other side of Florida.
Wow.
But I did see the house that they lived in the last year they were together because they lived in Derek Jeter's house, which is on Davis Island. So Davis Island is an island, but you wouldn't know it because the bridges to get there are really small. Like you're going over a bridge, but you don't realize that you're going over one
Like
part.
you're going out into the bay.
Exactly. It doesn't feel that way. And Davis Island, it's Davis Islands with an S because there's different islands within that area. So I could be on one island and then I could go 4 blocks and cross a bridge and be on another island.
Yeah.
But again, it just looks like a little waterway. It doesn't look like
Right.
you're, leaving and going to an island per se.
Yeah.
So when we went to Davis Islands, I was expecting gated community, armed guards, like just driving up and taking a photo of a gate. No. It's not like that.
You're
Like,
able to drive right up?
it's a neighborhood. And if you
What
look,
do you mean a neighborhood?
oh, like a neighborhood.
Like our neighborhood? Like
Okay.
Phil's neighborhood? Like
Okay,
any
probably not like those 2 neighborhoods, but is like a neighborhood. Okay. You just drive and you pull right up to Tom Brady's house. It's insanity. Like
You can just pull in Tom Brady's driveway?
there is a
DoorDash.
there is a
That's
gate.
right.
There is a gate in front of the house, but it's not like those opulent, huge gates. It's literally like the horizontal gate that closes
Oh, yeah.
right to left,
Just like
left
a
to right.
private residence, like a
You
single
guys,
gate.
no, it's like, yeah, but it's just a drive. It's like you come, you guys, it's crazy. I can't even explain it. I took video of it because I had to show you. It is just a regular freaking neighborhood. And people have done
Like
YouTube.
Encino? Sounds like Encino.
Like any nice neighborhood. Somebody did a YouTube video on it and they walked up to Tom Brady's house and they said, yeah, this is Tom Brady's house. And they did a pan of the neighborhood. And there was a house across the street that maybe, I mean, because of inflation, it's a couple $1 million. But honestly, it looked like a $600,000 house. It just looked like an average house. So then you have average homes and then you have huge homes. And Tom Brady's home wasn't enormous. It was $12 million. It's a big house, but it's not Tom Brady that
It
you
wasn't
expect.
obnoxious.
Not at all. It's like
No.
a 6-bedroom, 4-bath.
No.
It's It was.
Wow, okay. That's interesting. I always thought like Tom Brady lived in a house like Tony Stark.
He did.
You know?
So when he lived in Derek Jeter's house, that was a $30 million home. It was 30.
That's also in Tampa?
Yeah, it was on
Okay.
Davis Island as well. That's 25,000 or 20,000 square feet. So that was enormous.
Okay.
But then I guess the last year that he was there, Derek Jeter sold it. And so he and Giselle had to move and they moved to this house. And it was just like weird to see it in a neighborhood. Yeah. And even Derek Jeter's house, that was also in a neighborhood. Although it's a $30 million house, he has a couple of gates because it was opulent. I mean, a $30 million house takes over 3 lots.
I think I've seen his house. Well, I don't know if they're using the same house, but he's in a commercial, a car commercial, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think his house.
And he drives right up to his house and his little kids come out. And that girl that he married, who's no longer a girl, she's a woman now, who is the host.
Brooklyn Decker.
Nope, not Brooklyn Decker. Brooklyn Decker was on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, that's her. That's his wife.
Different girl. Different.
Do we need to look this up?
Yeah, we need to look it up.
Wait, what am I looking up here?
Okay, Derek
The
Jeter's.
host of Project Runway Jr.
Hannah?
Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah Jeter. Yeah.
What was her maiden name? Huh.
Davis.
Hannah Davis. That's right.
Wow. Okay.
Babe, come on.
I was wrong.
It was my show.
I said,
Hannah and Tim Gunn every week.
Well, she's pretty.
Designers.
is she pretty? Yeah,
Yeah.
she's really pretty.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Okay, so I don't know if that's his house in the commercial. I'm
Probably
not sure.
not.
I
don't
mean,
know. Just for creepy reasons alone, they probably just.
I don't think they would
They
film
don't want.
in front of his house.
Yeah, he doesn't want people in front of his house. Anyway, whatever that house was, it looked spectacular. So now I imagine that's the style of house Derek Jeter
and
lives.
that was a
And
style
Tom
of
Brady-
house that
and-
Tom and Giselle first moved
and that
into.
Tom Brady got evicted from.
Okay, I kept saying to Gareen, why would he live in this neighborhood? I kept saying that over and over again. Why would he live here? And she said, well, because the stadium is only 15 minutes away. And I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And
Yeah.
it's true. The stadium is only 15 minutes away.
Okay.
So it was fun doing that. I was dying. I was literally dying.
It's crazy because, up until a few years ago when he moved down from New England to play for the Buccaneers, nobody would have been driving over there to look. I mean, I guess there are people that like the Buccaneers were famous. What was it? 2000, 2002, something like that. They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
People are driving, and I'll tell you
Yeah.
why.
Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp. That's right.
People are driving, and I'll tell you why. They took the numbers off the house.
Well, now they are for sure. I mean, he won them a Super Bowl in what, 2020?
But he doesn't even own the house anymore.
20
So I do find it odd that the new people who are living there took the numbers down. I'm like, really? I'm like, you're going to when you buy a famous person's house
Yeah.
and it was a famous person that lived there, why all of a sudden are you going to act weird and take the numbers down? People are going to drive by. So now you're just making it difficult because we had to do 4 U-turns. And it's like, if they had just had the numbers up, we would only done 1 drive by, but they made us do 4.
Yeah.
So it really was counterproductive to what they were trying to do.
I think, eventually you're going to have like, so Phil, you don't know this, but my oldest daughter and I did the Breaking Bad tour in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Santa Fe? Albuquerque, New Mexico. And when we went up to Walter White's show house, there was a crazy lady standing out on the front lawn screaming at everybody. Yeah.
The owner of the house?
Yeah, out in front of the house. And it's like, I mean, I kind of get it in that case. I'm going off on a tangent here. Sorry.
It's okay.
People would come up. There was an episode in Breaking Bad where there, like, somebody threw a pizza on top of the roof or whatever.
Yeah.
So randoms would just come up and throw pizza on their roof.
Okay.
So now it's like gated and everything, but the whole lady screaming at you, calling you all kinds of curse words, that just raised the level of the experience.
So now that those houses do exist and people live in them, that raises the value of those houses because they didn't actually film in the house.
No.
They just shot outside B-roll of those houses.
I don't know. That's a great question. Does it raise?
Like
does
all
it raise the
TV
value?
houses, like the Full House,
Yeah,
the
does it
Family
raise the
Matters,
value?
Breaking Bad, like
I don't know. The Brady house.
yeah, they didn't film in there. They just did outside.
Yeah, the
shots.
outside. It was just outside shots. I don't know. Not sure.
I said the Brady house, the Brady Bunch house. To be clear, we're talking about Tom Brady, and then I mentioned the Brady Bunch house.
That does make sense.
But yeah, I have to clean that up a little. But anyway, I don't know. So what's your projection? What's your prediction? Do you think now that he's not living there anymore, people will stop visiting as much?
No, I went there. And I did 4 drive-bys. It was
We
crazy.
didn't even live there anymore.
I know, but it still was his house, James. Like, you can't get on the new island. So now he's on a different island in Surfside. You cannot get on. That is armed guards.
It's
That
because
is
he
like,
got that alimony from Gigi.
no. They actually, from my understanding, they bought that house together. It's called Indian Creek Island. It's like
So
called.
it's so massive. He lives on one side. She lives on the other.
Yeah, I think she told me.
That's good for the
yeah,
kids.
I think she said, you can have that and I'll go over here, because that was like, that's insane.
She
Like
she gifted him a guest house.
no, that house I think is something like $35 million.
Oh my God.
It's Billionaire Bunker is what it's called.
Oh,
And it's an Indian Creek Island in an area called Surfside.
They have a gate and a guard.
I think that's where they shot the 2004 Punisher movie.
Oh, really?
No way, really?
Yeah, John Travolta was the bad guy, but yeah, they were in Tampa, and I think that's the island that they shot it on.
Oh, well, okay. If they were in Tampa,
Well,
then they were on Davis Island.
Tampa,
Okay.
but-
Yeah. Though, but Indian
Tampa,
Creek though is in near Miami. That's
Okay.
the Indian Creek.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're right then.
So that's called Surfside, I believe, and that's where they relocated. So, but Gigi bought like a 15 square foot house, and he has
15 square foot?
like it's crazy.
15,000?
I'm so sorry. 1,500.
Thousand.
No, she didn't. She bought a 1,500
tiny?
square foot house. Yeah, and
Oh.
if you see the pictures, it's weird. So everyone's like, okay, she just bought this to get settled because she's going to buy a massive home. I mean, he's got the one on Indian Creek, which is across the water from her in Surfside, and she just bought this little tiny beach house, like tiny. And they're like, let's see what she builds. Like everybody's like, is it going to be bigger than Tom's?
I'm making all these jokes because up until, I don't know, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, maybe a year ago, I didn't realize that Giselle was the breadwinner in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know this, Phil?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone did but
Denise
you, babe.
clued me in on
Everyone
it.
did but you.
I know. Well, you're like, I don't know, the guy's got 12 Super Bowl rings and all this and all these endorsements.
But Brady's from an era where players didn't get paid that much money like players do now.
And he was on the Patriots. The Patriots are like the Bulls. Like, they don't pay their players. They cultivate amazing players, but everyone knows they don't pay their players.
It's definitely more,
And
next man
supermodels.
up. The whole team is,
She's a world renowned name,
Yes.
So she's definitely got more dough than him.
Yeah, I mean, she made more just walking 15 minutes on a catwalk while he's getting pummeled on a field.
Never knew.
While he's getting CTE.
He's getting what?
While he's getting CTE.
Yeah, she's she's
exactly.
walking Louis Vuitton's catwalk, making like $100,000.
Yeah.
Anyway,
right.
so that was fun. So we did
Okay.
that, and
That's a good trip.
she entertained me with that because she's not a sports fan. So
Right.
when I first got to her house, she said to me, guess where we're going to go after lunch? I said, where? She goes, Tom Brady's. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I didn't want to ask.
She
I
did
didn't
you
want
a solid.
She did. I did not want to be that stupid person. I was like, where's Tom Brady's house? But I was. In the
It was
end,
like
I
it's
was.
the equivalent for Green. It's the equivalent of Hollywood and Highland for us. So
Yes.
we got to go down to Hollywood and Highland because we got friends in town.
Green was like rolling her eyes and
Gotta
telling
go to
her
Tom Brady's house.
archaeologist husband, I got to go to Tom
know.
Brady's house.
I know they're all educated and stuff. Here we are, just like drenched in pop culture.
I know. Green's got like a master's in art history. She has a law degree, and she's like, I'm driving by Tom Brady's house.
Yeah, again, got another visitor.
So anyway, that was really fun though.
Nice.
And exploring Tampa just made me realize what a great little city it is. And I say little because even though it like to your point, Phil, it takes a minute to get from one place to the other. The downtown area itself is really small. They don't have a ton of high rises.
No way, really?
You blink and you've gone through downtown.
There's like 400,000 people there. I looked it up.
Yeah, but the downtown isn't like a downtown you would expect. I mean, Milwaukee's a bigger downtown than Tampa. Like more
For real?
for more buildings, for sure, 100%.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. They have everything that a city would have. They have professional sports teams.
They do.
They have a art museum. They have an aquarium. They have a ballet. They have amazing restaurants. They have public transportation. They don't have like a subway, but they do have a streetcar that goes around the city. They also have buses that take you around. I mean, again, if you live in the suburbs, like anything, it's not going to be easy to get to downtown Tampa.
Right.
But they have what most cities should have that, makes them a city.
Okay.
So
Concerts, all that. I mean, I see it on
Concerts.
concert T-shirts all the time.
Yes.
When they're listing off all the cities, Tampa and Orlando are almost always on those.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So they have concerts and stuff, but have you been to probably the best strip clubs in America? Is Tampa? Did you? I know your friend is very cultured, so she had to tell you something.
I didn't want to bring it up, but
Okay,
when
I've
I lived
never heard that, ever.
when I lived in Orlando in the 90s, the first thing all the young guys said was, you got to go to Tampa for the clubs.
All right, so we need to play. We need to play a game, James. On 3, we need to say the name of the strip club that everybody says. Do you remember the name?
Oh my gosh, I don't. Actually.
What is it?
Mons Venus.
Oh, Mon Venus, that's right. Yes, that's the one. That is the one.
Wait, what's that face? What was that?
Do that face again. Everybody knows.
What?
Yeah,
I've never heard. Like, okay, come
Tampa,
on.
they
Okay,
talk about it on
okay.
sports radio. They
You
talk
need-
about it on every.
They
like,
talk about strip clubs on sports radio. What are you talking about?
It's always like a joke, just like we're making now, where it's like, you know, the guys will be talking like, oh, the Super Bowl's been held at that stadium several times. And every time leading up to that, they're like, it's great, the food, the this, the that. And then there's always that color commentary guy on the sports radio show and the strip clubs, you know, almost always. Like second, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's credited as I think Atlanta would argue
Yes,
that
Atlanta.
they have a better strip
What is
club
KOD
scene going on.
my
KOD
show,
is
my,
number one.
my trip has been hijacked by a strip club. Okay, what is happening here? Go ahead. Now, Atlanta has the best strip club?
Atlanta does. It's called the King of Diamonds, KOD. But Tampa, the reason I hate that I know this information.
Oh, let's hear it, Phil.
But
You don't hate it,
in Orlando area, Central Florida, you're not allowed to be nude.
Completely nude.
In
Okay.
the,
Just topless.
Well, you gotta have pasties.
Oh, okay.
But in Tampa, there ain't no rules in Tampa. You can
Nope.
do anything.
And you get your
touch.
liquor.
You can ride.
Can you drink at the strip club
Yes.
in Tampa?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's as if you can. It's as if Georgia says, in Tampa you can do that.
Yeah, in Tampa.
is
In
in
Mons
Tampa.
Venus, you can do that.
Oh, I didn't realize in Tampa you could do that.
I'm pretty
it's as
sure-
if they treat you like an adult there.
Yeah.
Huh. So, okay, I'm going to digress for 1 second, so bear with me. What makes the strip club so great? Is it just the pretty girls? It's got to be just the pretty girls, right? Like that's what makes it great.
So I
And
think
they're probably naughty.
I think I said this off air. I have a weird beef with strip clubs because I think like you, Denise. I'm like, okay, why do I want to go spend a ton of money in a place to where I'm not going to get laid?
It's true. Right. It's true.
It's expensive.
I don't understand why guys do this, but I think it's because the women make you feel good about
And
yourself.
I'm socially
course.
awkward. I have a weird awkward story about going to my first strip
Let's
club.
hear it.
And it was here in Orlando, it was a radio prank from the guys at the radio station because we talked about it on the air and they're like, "You've never been to a strip club?" I'm like, "No, I've never been to a strip club." It's like, "We're going tonight," and I was like, "Okay, sure." They're for real. I'm like, "All right." So we went to a strip club and I'm just socially awkward. I don't know what to do. So they buy me a couple of drinks. I'm sitting there. Some very nice lady, and her name is Sparkle. She comes up.
Sparkle. That's her given name.
He remembers that.
She comes
She's
up
going to
me
law school.
and she asked me for a dance. I'm like, sure. I don't know what to do, so I'm just standing there like, ah. I'm like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? So like they're filming this. It's somewhere on the internet.
Oh,
somewhere.
this is
Oh my gosh.
awesome.
They're
We gotta
filming
dig that
this.
up.
They're filming this, and it's just incredibly awkward. So I'm like, what now? And so she was very nice, but yeah, it was very
You
awkward.
She was gentle for your first time.
Yes, she was.
Oh, that's
she was
good.
gentle. Sparkle was very nice.
Oh my gosh. Okay, because I do look at it like, I don't know, it is a lot of money.
It
and
is.
you know they're just acting like they like you. You know that, right?
Of course. Yeah.
But everyone's willing to pay for that.
I think that's part of the,
Yeah. You just want to be like, caressed.
You can
and
go there and
said
you can
you're-
be like, ha ha ha, he, and especially if you can have a drink or two while you're watching all the visuals, I guess, for lack of a better word. But you've actually been to one or two with me.
I have, because a group of people, like there was one time where a group of people wanted to go.
Yeah.
And we all went. And I thought, okay, that was my first time in a strip club.
It was the best night. It was the best time first off, I'm sort of like I never frequented them when I was young or anything. And when I went to them for bachelor parties, it always just felt corny because you had guys there who
We're really into it.
just don't know how to act, and they are super into it or creepy or whatever with
Yeah.
the girls. And so I would say this is crazy. We're off on a tangent.
We really
My
are.
best strip club experience was when my wife came to the strip club with me because we had a blast that
We
night.
did. We went twice. I don't know if you remember. Once with our friend Kip,
Yep.
and that was Kip, you, me, and then somebody else was Gina. I think was with us.
Yeah.
I can't remember. There was a couple people with us.
Yeah.
And then one was in Vegas. But the one in LA, I'll never forget. I've told everyone this story. So we walk up to this girl, and I said, "Do you remember this?" I don't know if you remember. It was just like she looked like the girl next door, and I thought,
That's
"Oh,
part of the allure.
okay." So I thought it would be kind of fun to like get you a lap dance, right?
Yeah.
And I remember walking up to her, and she saw me coming, and she puts her hand out to shake my hand, and she goes, "Hi, I'm Jessica," and then she goes, "Oh my God, I'm Mercedes. I'm not
Mercedes.
Jessica. I'm not Jessica. I'm Mercedes." And I
She
said,
gave you the real name. She felt so disarmed around you.
and I said to her, I go, "I promise you your secret is safe with me." I
Oh my
said,
gosh.
It's like superhero identities.
I know those girls when they see like couples come in or whatever. I know they're so like, oh, I'm gonna go hang with them because they're just,
that we're not going to do anything
I don't
weird.
have to. Yeah, I don't have to deal with Groipy McGroper.
I remember the one girl I paid for a lap dance for Kip, and I said to her, I'll never forget. I go, "He's an executive at NBC. He's had a hard week. Just be nice."
Yeah.
So she
Well, Kip was always so much fun because
I know.
my friend Kip, you two would get along well because, frankly,
He loves
you're
cars.
both into cars,
Yeah.
you're both into production,
Oh,
you're both,
yeah.
and my friend Kip would just walk in when he and I would go. He would just have, he'd have his stack of ones,
He was a pro.
and he would
Kip
just
knew what to
walk right up to the catwalk and just start throwing ones. And then the girls would come to him. It was so awesome.
I remember the first time, that was the very first time I went, and I saw
Yeah.
him. I'm like, oh my gosh, like all of a sudden everyone started swarming to him
Yeah.
because he was just throwing ones at
Yeah.
the.
And then we would sit down.
Yes.
Oh my
yes,
God.
Uh-huh.
And
But
so-
anyway, how did
I had a lot of good strip club memories with Kip. Remember one time
Okay, are you serious? No, we're not doing this right now.
Remember there was one time I called you from San Francisco.
Yes.
And this girl came up and sat down next to me, and Kip's mouth fell open. He looked at her. He thought it was you. She looked just like you, only she was 5'4". And so I said,
With like
"Oh my gosh."
triple D's.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she didn't know. She looked she literally was a smaller, fun-sized copy of you. And
Put her in your pocket.
exactly. I wanted to take a photo with her. She wouldn't
can't
let
at a
me.
strip club.
You're not allowed. No.
No,
And so anyway, I thought that was a funny. That was a funny moment. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot escape this girl."
I think we need to change the name of the podcast to Strip Club All Stars.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's get back to Tampa.
Okay, I didn't even know Trampa.
Trampa.
Hey,
Freudian slip. I love it.
Oh, that's really funny. I did not even know Tampa was known for its strip clubs. I had
Well,
no idea.
Hun, there are a lot of med schools and law schools there, and the girls need something to get through school.
it's
You know?
expensive.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, they're going to med school and law school, yes,
Yeah.
and they're stripping on the side. Okay, that is that's like. Do they still use those stories? You think?
They do.
Really?
I
How would you know?
think.
Oh,
It's been a number of years, but
okay.
let's talk about the Italian food and the Sicilians.
So anyway, here's the one thing I learned about Tampa real estate. It has skyrocketed even in the last couple of years, which was crazy. So when we're in Ybor City, there are cute little houses around the historic district, and they look like little, honestly, the only way I can describe them is little seaside houses. And they were like, honestly, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, or 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but we're talking 1,300 square feet. They're really, really small. She told me 2-3 years ago, easily could get them for $100,000. Now they're $400,000.
Wow.
It's crazy because that area has blossomed so much, and it's like now considered the cool area, hip area to live in.
Right.
Those houses are skyrocketing. So then I looked just for
That's
real.
quite a jump.
You know what she told me 2 years ago? That area, Ybor City, wasn't even where it is today. 2 years ago. So in 2 years, it has made such a drastic leap in, influx of people coming, restaurants, bars. I mean, just like any small town, because Ybor City is a neighborhood and a big town, but like small area, just like a lot of cities we've come across in our travels, Ybor City did have its hard times.
Yeah.
People weren't buying cigars. It was just, like
There
that's
was
a luxury.
nothing there. I was here.
Right.
I drove through there in the 90s. One trip to Tampa I ever made.
Yes,
It was
so-
not to Mons Venus, by the way.
But in the 90s, that's when they started to see a little bit of resurgence of businesses. But still, it didn't take until well into the 2000s where companies were starting to put money in, like big restaurants, like, not so much a restaurant chain, but a restaurant group started putting money into that area of Tampa. So you have several different restaurant groups there that have beautiful places. Now they have bars and coffee shops. And so, when there's artists that first
Right.
come there, it's about to take off. But it took a while. It didn't take off overnight. And it took well into like 2020 for it to really start to see the changes. And just like I said, 2 years ago, you could buy the houses for $100,000, $150,000, and now they're like close to $4 million. So in 2 years alone, it jumped.
I read somewhere that the number of millennials there is really starting to outpace the number of people over 55.
Yep, you see it. 100%.
Do you really?
100%.
Wow.
Young people everywhere. We went to every restaurant we went to, young people. And I'm not talking like 20s. I'm talking, we're 50. So for me, young is late 30s,
Yeah,
early
30 and
40s.
up.
Yep.
30
everywhere.
to us.
Yep. Everywhere.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's accurate.
Wow.
And just like any city that's booming, if you go out in the suburbs, you can for sure get more property for your dollar. So for instance, a house that was $600,000, I have to take this over. I am so sorry. So let me take that over. Just like any city, if you go out to the suburbs, you can get more for your money.
Right.
100%. But even the suburbs saw an increase in the last 2 years. So a house in the suburbs that's like 3,500 square feet 2 years ago, that went for like 550, 600 for 3,500 square feet.
That's a good size. That's a good house.
It's a good
Yeah.
house, right? Now $900,000. So
Wow.
even in 2 years, suburb prices went up as well. But you could still get more for your money in the suburbs. So a house that's $400,000 near Ybor City or Hyde Park, that's probably only 1,500 square feet.
Yeah.
Maybe more, maybe 1,700, just depends on where it is. You could get that house 2,500 square feet, 3,000 square feet in the suburbs of Tampa. But you're going to have to go out. You know what I mean? It's just like anything.
Right.
But I don't, like when I was with her, I just didn't want to be on my phone looking up prices for houses. So
No,
I
you
just
can do all that stuff later.
Yeah. So then I went back home and I was like, okay, I know what areas we were in. I want to take a look. So so you really get more. LA is just, it doesn't make any sense. The prices
Jeez,
in
$1
LA.
million.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it has a lot to do with inventory, available inventory, and frankly, what you can get for a particular, even in our area. It's funny. You can get we've said it before on the show, but you can get you will sell your house for 7 figures in LA, and there'll be a homeless encampment 100 yards away. So
Oh, wow.
it's pretty insane. Yeah.
But if we wanted to buy a house, like if we had taken our money from LA and wanted to buy a house, okay, this is perfect. Like we talked about it, Green and I. A lot of people come from the big cities. She is an LA transplant. So her husband sold his house. And she did say we could have moved into a mansion, like 6,000 square feet, 7,000 square feet for the amount of money they made on their LA home. But they decided not to do that. She said, it doesn't make any sense. So they bought still a big home, a 3,000 square foot home. And they paid like, I think the price was close to 6, something like that. So if he sold his house, I'm guessing they lived in Culver City. It's an expensive area of LA. For $1 million, they
least.
still had $500,000. And for her, they went from another, like that house in Culver City, my guess again is probably 1,500 square feet to 3,000 square feet in Tampa. That's double the size for half the price. I'm still seeing those numbers even today. And, they've been there for 6 years now.
Okay.
I mean, Tampa has gone up, but my point is you're your big city dollar.
Yeah, if you're coming from somewhere else.
Yeah, New York, LA, San Francisco, Miami, you're still going to get
So
more.
that still holds.
100%.
You don't see that in every market. You can't get that in Savannah. You can't
No.
get that in several, like Bernie, Texas, of all places. You never thought you was
Can't get that in
like,
Bernie.
You couldn't move to the foot of hill country in Texas for that much money.
No,
So-
but you can move to Tampa and get a really nice house.
Okay, that's good.
And you just have to be flexible on where you want to live. If you want to live in Ybor City, you're going to have a really small house, that neighborhood. If you're going to live in Hyde Park, your house is going to be small.
I looked up some of the best areas. Can I rattle them off real quick?
Sure.
Popular neighborhoods for home buyers include South Tampa, New Tampa, where this goes.
Don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's like New Haven, New Guilford, New whatever. West Chase, and Carrollwood.
Those are all areas we did not visit, so I don't know where the heck those are.
I think those are the ones with like the most coveted public schools. You and I don't care about that stuff anymore, but it does help your property value.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of top-rated schools, I guess, that can be found in South Tampa.
The only thing was that I noticed that wasn't appealing to me, but they were beautiful. A lot of gated communities, lots of gated communities in the suburbs that we were going through. I'm not a big gated.
Meh. Yeah.
I'm not a big gated community fan. I get the reason for it. They just want to keep things quiet. They don't want cars driving through. I get the whole purpose of it, but
There's
just
a safety component, but don't you think there's also like some exclusivity factor that they want to pump up?
100%.
Just so they can, charge you another $50K or whatever for the same house that you get anywhere else.
Maybe.
Isn't that what HOAs are for?
Yeah, totally.
Yes, you're right. I don't know. I just thought like, why do they have to have so many gated
Yeah, I'm
communities
not
here?
a fan.
I loved it. I was surprisingly shocked at how cultured it was. That again goes back to that idea I have in my head when we roll up into a city, what I think it's going to be, and I'm usually wrong. That is a hard pill to swallow. Sometimes I've been right. Tampa, I was full on wrong. And
it's pretty balanced. I looked up the demographics. It's about 45% white, 23% Hispanic, 23% African American, and 21% non-white Hispanic, and then 5 or 6% Asian, and the rest are two races or more, so bicultural.
I would say that's accurate. Like even just walking around, I would say that's 100%
Sounds like a good
accurate.
mix.
It's a really good mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And fun fact, guess who's from Tampa?
Who?
Bert Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer is from Tampa. That's right. Oh my gosh.
I wonder what part he lived in. I'll have to ask. I'll have to send Leanna a message
the person
and
who
ask her.
sparked Skip Town All Stars from the get-go. Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's from Tampa.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's cool.
Denise, how many professional sports teams are in Tampa? Quickly, rapid fire. Go.
All I know is one.
Okay.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's it.
Okay.
How
3,
many are there?
4. Do they have They don't have an MLS team, do they?
I don't count that.
They have the Buccaneers,
Yeah.
NFL. They have the Tampa Bay. This is actually, we should talk about this because they have the Rays, the MLB Major League Baseball team.
They have a baseball team.
They do, and they have an NHL team. They have the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Hold on. Wait. The baseball team. What league are they in? National or American?
They actually won a World Series 2 years ago?
What are you saying right now?
Yeah.
No, the Rays never won.
They never won?
No, they've gone two.
Oh, they've gone
Wait,
two.
are they National League or American?
They're American League
They're American
How
League.
come I've never heard of this baseball team?
because they're in St. Petersburg.
They're technically in
Okay.
St. Petersburg.
Okay. They're over the bridge.
And I guess if you go to I haven't been to one of their games, but from what I've heard on sports radio and other venues is
Trash.
there's always a seat available at a Rays
the
game.
stadium is trash. That's why.
Is
Wait,
that
what
right?
does that mean? It's trash. I mean, it's like an old stadium.
Yeah,
They're trying to relocate.
okay.
it's trash.
Yeah. So they've been around for a long time.
I can't believe I've never heard
20
of them.
years, something
What?
like that.
I thought you were going to say 5.
No,
That's a
when
long
I flew
time
out
is
here,
5.
one time they flew me out here to do one of those dog shows, the internet AKC or whatever, the shows that they televise where the dogs go and do tricks and all that stuff, and they sit there and
The Westminster
Yes.
dog
Yes,
show.
similar. Whatever the American
Yeah.
version of that is, they flew me to Tampa, and the Rays were there then. I mean, I think that was the mid-aughts. So
I
yeah.
had no idea. I only knew that they had more than one team about 30 minutes ago when you said teams with an S, and I was like, Oh, there's more than just the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah.
We've talked about some people living there, but you know who my favorite person is that is living in Tampa?
Who?
Eddie DeBartolo Jr.
Oh, he owns the 49ers.
His dad did, yeah. I think his sister runs it now or whatever. But a Youngstown favorite. The DeBartolo family is from Youngstown, Ohio. So
they live in Tampa. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Eddie Jr. does.
Here's an interesting thing. When we were out to lunch, the Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization was having lunch right at the table next to us.
They were?
It was huge. It was like a big table, and there was probably 8 of them. And they had like their Tampa Bay, like you knew they were execs because they were all like prim and proper, and they had the little zip up with the Tampa Bay thing here. And I'm like, oh, wonder who they're signing.
Nice.
Did your friend tell you about Gasparilla?
No.
Ooh, all right. Well, I'm about to educate you for a little bit.
Tell me.
All right, so Gasparilla, like the Jose Gaspar, the pirate that was one of the ones who founded Tampa, right?
Yeah.
It's a huge festival, I think, in mid-January.
Oh, yes.
Where it's like Mardi Gras, but it's pirate themes.
No way.
Yeah, and it's
But don't they have
dope.
an art festival too and all of that?
Yeah, they have everything. The whole month of January in Tampa is Gasparilla, but it's literally like Mardi Gras in Tampa, but it's super, super cool.
We have to go. She actually had artwork in her house that she got at the festival, and she kept saying to me, "Oh, it's the Gaspar. That's what it was, art festival, but it's the Gaspar, whatever it is."
Gasparilla, yeah, that's
Okay.
what they call it.
It's like there's been this.
Oh, we gotta go.
I know. Look at your eyes light up.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
been this ignition within Denise ever since we went to the Renaissance Fair in Colorado.
Nice.
She's all about like nerd and dork culture now. It's funny.
Are you gonna dress up? I'm gonna dress up.
I will not dress up as a pirate, no, but I will love to see the pirates, and I will go. I will definitely go.
Yeah. Wow, have you ever been, Phil?
I went 1 year before I met my family. But yeah, it was fun.
Was it? Did you dress up as a pirate?
No, I had a big fake afro, but
Did you?
I dressed like a pirate. But how do I dress like a pirate? It's weird. You wear like disheveled stuff, and I don't know. I just didn't. But
Was the food good?
I don't remember the food. I was pretty drunk.
Oh, all right. So the alcohol was good.
Yep.
I got a few fun facts that I'm going to rattle off. 2022, Tampa was ranked the 42nd safest metro area out of 374 analyzed in the United States.
Okay.
We already talked about the safest neighborhoods. There were over 1,200 homeless individuals living in Tampa as of January 2022, a decrease in homelessness by 12%.
I didn't see anyone. I didn't see anyone homeless at all. No tents, nothing. That makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah, they're doing something with their homeless population, then they're taking care of them.
Yeah, it says here a lot of efforts have been made in recent years to address the issue through funding and initiatives for affordable housing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Development and support services. Popular areas for dining and nightlife include the neighborhoods of Soho and Seminole Heights.
Oh, we did not. Yeah, we did not go to Seminole Heights or Soho.
Okay, allegedly trendy restaurants and boutique shops and all that stuff that you and the girls love. Downtown Tampa, Channelside, and Ybor City also offer a variety of bars, restaurants, cultural attractions. Tampa International Airport, little travel tip, has its own short-term pet motel for traveling pets called Paradise for Paws.
Okay, I have read about that, but I don't know if it was specifically Tampa, but I did read that this is now becoming more popular. Like you're going to see pet hotels, short-term pop up in airports because it makes sense. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing if you're traveling with your pet
It's
and you want to
great.
go out and hang out in Tampa for a while. You
No,
don't have
it's
to leave
just
them in a hotel room by themselves.
Or if you're going on a trip, like let's say you're going for a week to, I don't know, Washington State. Take the dog with you to the airport, drop the dog off, get on your flight, come home, pick the dog up, and go home. It's brilliant.
Definitely.
It's such a smart idea.
Yeah. Industry-wise, MacDill Air Force Base and the state of Florida are among the 2 highest employers there.
Oh,
so,
yes.
But there's been an influx lately. Something like, I don't know, Tampa is actually rated number 1 for tech in Florida, in the state of Florida.
Oh, I didn't
know
that.
Tech, all those sort of cybersecurity companies, software firms, all that. So it is the tech hub in Florida, I guess.
Question for James, though.
What's that?
Question for you.
Yeah.
All right. You're in television, so you know the markets. What number is Tampa?
Oh, what number is Tampa?
Orlando is 19. So
Orlando is 19.
What is Tampa?
Tampa would be, I think, 28.
I thought you knew. I don't know the answer. I'm going to Google it.
I don't know.
Google it.
You can Google it.
All right, got the answer.
Yeah.
What
All
number
right.
is
So
it?
you said 28.
Yeah, I did.
All right. What do you think?
Oh, how many markets are there total? Do you know?
Ooh,
A couple hundred.
there's
Okay.
a lot. Yeah.
Oh, I would say Tampa's like, I don't know, 75.
11.
It's the 11th market.
11th
It's
market.
bigger than Orlando.
I knew that when I was in radio because what happens is
See, it's underrated. I have to be honest with
It
you.
really is.
so how it works here, I'm going off of radio here.
Yeah.
So you start in a smaller city, not even Orlando, then you work your way up to Orlando. But they all buy them now. But anyway, you're in Orlando for a little bit, and then Tampa picks you up, and then your salary goes
Skyrocket.
Then you go to Atlanta.
Oh,
Got it.
wow.
Yeah.
So that's the path. One question I was going to ask you about
Yeah.
Tampa before we head out. Could you live there?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't buy a second house in the same state. So we have a house already in Florida. So that's why I would negate buying a house there. If I'd never had a house in Florida, I would buy a house there.
But just for the city alone,
100%.
the experience, all that other
Yes,
stuff, you could
100
live there.
Because it's not too big, but it's not too small. It truly is right in the middle, and it has culture. There's so much to do. The diversity of people, the food, all the things that you and I really enjoy. Yeah, the schools are good from what I researched. Also, again, I don't take that into account a lot because that's not our thing anymore.
Yeah.
But I think my kids would love it. The airport's right there. The answer is yes. It is affordable enough to live, decent sized home, and has everything at your fingertips that you could want out of a city. But you also could move to the suburbs and have a beautiful life out there and just go and see a concert like once every couple months and drive into the city. The answer is yes. I would completely and totally move there.
Nice. We're going to have to check it out together.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
I loved it. I really did. It was just, I guess I loved it because I was pleasantly surprised.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. You weren't expecting to love it, right?
Not at all.
You just thought it was going to be more of an extension of Central Florida.
I did.
And then you got there.
Yeah, it's true.
Nice. Okay. Well, if you don't have anything else, I guess we should wrap this one up.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Take them out.
Empty nest, full tank.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.